Surround yourself with good energy. For you to keep moving forward, you are valid. Regardless you of never know who's excited or happy to see every single day. Hey awesome people, this is John, your English speaking Provinciano, and welcome to another episode of Wednesdays with Awesome John. I remember a month or 2 months ago, we posted a hiring announcement for online job seekers, especially for an online teaching position. Sad thing is like this, there were 20 to 30 applicants during the time, and only 2 or 3 people got qualified for the position or for the job. So that's the thing. There are really a lot of job opportunities online. It's just that only few people have the qualifications. And what's the problem? It's because of the English communication skills. Filipinos are known to be really good at speaking English. Yeah, we know that. But it's just that specifically this job as an online teacher for foreign students really takes someone at least to be comfortable enough in using the language, especially when you're teaching the kids or the students or the learners. You should be at least comfortable using it, not because you're good at grammar or you've finished a master's degree in whatever communication field, but at least you are capable of explaining something or teaching your students in a way that would sound more convincing. And there's just a difference when you are passionate about teaching and when you are also passionate in using English as the language. So there's like a difference between the two ideas. We are all capable of teaching, I guess, especially for Filipinos, but the people, especially the clients, have a way of checking your ability to use the language and to also teach. I mean, they check your teaching skills or your teaching strategies, and at the same time they check on how fluent, they check the command of your tone, the command of your voice, they check your enunciation, your intonation and whatnot. So I'm trying to analyze, I'm trying to understand how could we help other people, especially aspiring online teachers, Filipino online teachers, to qualify for the position. Because again, more and more clients are looking for online English teachers. That's why I've decided to come up with this content for this video podcast, because I just really want to help fellow Filipinos to at least land a job which is very convenient at the same time, because it's a work from home setup. So you know, it's very convenient. And again and again and again, there are a lot, not just online teaching, there's a lot of job opportunities online. The problem really is the qualifications. Like, most of them don't really check your resumes or your CVs. They don't check your academic achievements. They don't check how active you were in your college days or in your high school or whatever. They check your command, your speaking command. So I remember months ago also, I have friends from Davao who were also trying to convince me to move back to Davao City just to get another job for a US based company. They need someone who's also has good English communication skills. But I decided not to accept the job offer because I need enough time to rest as well to be effective with my current job. So my point is, like, online job opportunities are very much available. We just need to really qualify or pass the screening and whatnot. Before I give my personal tips and share my experience when it comes to improving my skills in English, I also want to share my thoughts on some misconception of people when it comes to English speaking, especially for fellow Filipinos. If they hear you speak English, they would think you're just trying to show off your English skills because this and that. But some people will also think it's only for the rich. Some people think it's only for the influential, for the famous people. Just because you're not famous, you're not a celebrity, or you're not anybody who's like known, or you're not part of the elite society, they would think you don't deserve or you don't have the right to use the language, or if you just come from a low-key kind of a school or a university, they think you don't deserve or you don't have the right to use the language or whatnot. And then at the same time, they think that English speaking is the basis for your intelligence or intellect. And that's very funny. I've been sharing this online before that it isn't the only basis. I mean, it's not the basis for one's intelligence or intellect. Again, I've been sharing this before. English speaking is like any other skills. It's like dancing, it's like singing, it's like drawing or painting, it's like playing the violin, playing the piano. It only gets better and better through constant practice and through time. So that's the point. You should never be intimidated using the language or practicing the language if you have that goal to be good at it. It's a skill that one has to improve. You should treat it not as the basis for one's intelligence or intellect. You should treat it as a skill. If you grab every opportunity to use it, then go on. I mean, just use it or practice using it, especially if you have the goal. Just like when you're trying to go abroad or you're trying to qualify for an English communication skills or exam or whatever. One more thought is like, it's actually awkward to use English when you're like talking to your fellow Filipino, when you're buying something from a store, when you're asking some questions from a fellow Filipino, especially when you're a Bisaya or when you're a Tagalog or when you're an Ilonggo or whatnot. It's awkward. But I believe it's only awkward when you actually don't know your purpose of using it. It's only awkward when you don't embrace the idea that you might be mocked or bullied for using it. Maybe because people don't get used to it, and maybe because you might have errors or flaws in using the language. But again, if you have the purpose, if you really have that solid or firm purpose in using the language, you should start overcoming that awkward feeling. You should start embracing the idea that any reaction from the people around you, especially for fellow Filipinos, that's so normal. But you don't have to explain every detail of your purpose. You don't really have to be worried about that. Yeah, it's okay. Like they will be mocking you or whatnot. But it's part of the growth. It's part of your practice. It's part of your goal. It's part of the process. So yeah, it's all part. I've been in that position before when I was very hesitant to use the language because I know majority of the people around me are speaking Bisaya or speaking Cebuano or Ilonggo. But then I really asked myself, like, why do you actually use that? Do you have a purpose or whatnot? That means your awkwardness is also relative to your purpose. Like, the purpose of using the language determines the level of awkwardness that you might feel. So through time, I was able to understand the effect, the reaction that I might also get from the people around me. It took time for me to really accept that. But now, it feels like I'm mature enough to understand that, hey, it's normal for people to react that way. I also started talking to my friends, opening up, like, hey, would you mind if I use the language when I chat you or whatnot? Because I have my personal purpose. I don't aim to really intimidate you or to show off. I'm just having my personal purpose. It's like already part of my system. I've been teaching English to foreign students for like 10 years or 11 years now. I started in 2011. So it's like, remember, I started hosting at schools, like from elementary until high school. And I also started hosting gigs even when I was still in high school. So I was already exposed for public speaking. So it's either Tagalog or English or Taglish or Bisaya or Cebuano or whatnot. I've realized sometimes it's really difficult to shift my language from, like, imagine if you're like teaching all day, all night, and then suddenly you have to shift to Bisaya or Ilonggo, or sometimes you have this difficulty in trying to just shift your language to another. So I try to open up to my other friends, like, hey, you don't mind if I use the language when I chat you, because the thing is, you understand English, you also can talk to me in English. But I don't really mind also when you talk to me or when you reply in Bisaya or in Tagalog or whatever language that you use. It's just like an understanding. It's just like embracing yourself, like being in that position, because they might not understand your purpose, or they might not be able to fully understand your purpose, but at least you know for yourself. One more thing is, like, I've also learned to stop mocking or bullying people when they commit mistakes or when they have these errors in English or English grammar, when they have these flaws, because I have learned that I'm not even perfect at it. I'm not even perfect in all areas of the English communication, but it's just that it became part of my system using the language, but that doesn't mean I am myself a perfect English speaker. I don't even consider myself perfect in English grammar. My point is like, we should stop bullying or mocking people for trying to improve themselves, especially when they try to post something on social media using the language. With that idea, I've also learned to help other people, especially friends, dear friends, who sometimes are not aware or not conscious with their grammar when they post something on social media. So what I do is like, I try to send them a message privately and tell them like, hey, I saw your post and I know I'm a friend, so you wouldn't mind me helping you, right? I think what you're trying to say is this and that, blah blah blah. So in that way, I'm helping other people who also want to improve themselves in using the language, either in written or oral English. Because I had this experience in the past. I posted something also in English, like just a caption for a photo that I posted on Facebook, and then I got likes, like not really much, but like 20s or 30s maybe. But the next morning when I checked the post, I've noticed like an error, a grammar mistake. I felt bad that I've got 30s or at least 20s or 30 likes, but none of them actually tried to correct me for the error that I made. I don't know, I don't exactly remember how many likes or reactions I had that with that post, but I just felt bad because I think if you're really a good friend, maybe they didn't notice that, but actually it is very noticeable. The mistake, the error was really noticeable. So I felt bad in a way, but I just let it go. I've learned from that. I've learned that I should be helping my friends, especially friends, because if they treat you as a friend, they wouldn't take it against you if you try to correct them. That's the point. By the way, if you want to enroll and have a one-on-one coaching or English coaching with me, just let me know, because I just want to make it fair for my fellow Filipinos who also want to improve their English speaking skills, because I've been passionate about speaking or teaching English to foreign people or foreign clients or students, but I should be giving the same opportunity for fellow Filipinos who also want to improve. And I want to make sure you'll be more comfortable. The very purpose of this is just to help you gain the confidence and at the same time help you become more comfortable in using the language, regardless of what you know, regardless of your level of vocabulary, level of grammar understanding, or regardless of your flaws or whatnot. We just try to help you at least become comfortable about it and learn and improve along the way. So just send me a private message, or you can also send me an email through johnhdrs@gmail.com. Okay? Alright, so let's go to some tips or personal tips that I could share. I remember when I was in elementary school, my grade 6 advisor and / our English teacher, Ma'am Rosaline, I remember one of the poems that she taught us, which I never forget. I don't know if my classmates would remember this. It's about 100% alive. The more you read, the more you know. The more you know, the smarter you grow. The smarter you grow, the stronger your voice when speaking your mind and making your choice. That's what I always remember. So yes, the first tip that I would give you is read. Develop a habit of reading English materials. It could be an English book, an English novel, an English article, news article, English magazines. Read at least the same advice that I give to my foreign students. Give at least 3 to 5 minutes a day reading English materials or English books or any English materials. But when you read with your voice, read with your mouth, not just with your eyes. And then when you read, record your voice and listen to your voice and check your pronunciation. So this is what I always tell. If you read a book, most of us wouldn't be so familiar with the vocabulary, with the other words that we read from the book, and it's just very normal. You have to accept that, and it doesn't matter how much you know or how much you don't know from what you're reading. The point is like, you just read using your voice because you want to exercise your mouth, your tongue, your jaw. So it's like going to the gym. The same thing that I always tell everybody. It's like going to the gym. You go to the gym to make your body flexible, to make your body more capable of doing physical activities. So you also need to do the reading with your voice, not just with your eyes, because you need to exercise, move your tongue and your lips and your jaw and everything. Yeah, that's the purpose of speaking or reading with your voice, reading aloud. So that's the point. And of course, when you do that, don't do that in public. Do that in your private space or in your private room or whatever, but just so nobody would think you're crazy or whatnot. So I also remember when I was a kid, when I was in elementary, I was in one room at home, and my brother was listening, and then my brother asked me, our eldest brother, I don't know if he remembers this, he asked me if I'm with someone, if I'm talking to someone, if I have a friend inside who I'm talking to. And I said, no, I'm actually alone. So I was just reading some books. I mean, I was reading an English book at that time. Like, I'm reading a story from the book. And so that's the point. Imagine I was an elementary student and I started reading aloud even when I'm inside my room. So, and even up to this day, I sometimes feel comfortable reading a book or anything with my voice, reading it aloud, but not as loud as to the extent of people listening or hearing your voice. But I like it better because I don't know, because maybe it's been a practice to me. So that's the point. Listen to your voice, record yourself, and then check your pronunciation, check the dictionary, check the pronunciation guide and whatnot. So don't be afraid to be surprised with the new words that you encounter whenever you read something. So just make a mark or make a list of the words you're not familiar with, and then after reading, that's when you check the pronunciation and the definition of the words. That's the first tip. So again, develop a habit of reading English materials at least 3 to 5 minutes a day, and tell me if it's not working. I don't know, but again, you have to commit yourself to that practice. And next is watch English movies or English shows or TV shows, especially American TV shows, because of course I think most of us are using or following the American English or the American English. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Because when you are watching an American show or an American movie, you are also like exposing yourself to that English conversation of the characters in the film or in the TV show. So it's like you are making yourself part of the conversation, which also helps you improve your comprehension or your listening comprehension, because we know that they really talk fast and sometimes they have their own accent, and sometimes it's a challenge for us, and that's okay. At the beginning, it will be very difficult for you to understand them, especially when they are using unfamiliar words. Again, that's very normal, but getting used to it from time to time is a big help for you to at least expose yourself. So that's a big help. And also try to imitate one character or one American TV personality. Try to imitate how they talk, or yeah, if you're a woman, try to find or pick one American TV celebrity and then try to imitate how she talks, or try to imitate her accent or whatnot. If you aim to sound like a Native American, or if you really aim to be an online teacher or whatnot, if you aim to be someone to qualify for a particular position which requires English communication skills, I think that would help you a lot. Because in American movies or TV shows, you would be challenged to really try to really understand or to get used to it. I mean, to get used to listening to an American conversation or an American English conversation. That's my point. And then, as often as possible, try to use it. You might find an opportunity to use it. So just like me, because I teach English from day to night, at least I have an opportunity to use it. But even when I go outside, sometimes I also try to use it, like speaking or using the language when like talking to other fellow Filipinos, especially mga Bisaya. But because I believe in the abilities of the fellow Filipinos. Everyone can speak English. Everyone understands English. Most of us, I mean, most of the people understand English. So I think I trust the ability. I know that we are capable of trying to communicate using the language. So, but just don't make it awkward for them. Again, if you have an opportunity to practice using it, then do it by all means. Because again, no one could dictate what you need to do when you have a goal. but you yourself. You have to commit yourself to it. You have to you forget about the intimidation, forget about the awkward feeling, the awkward reaction from the people around you. You don't have to explain everything. Intimidation or hesitation or awkwardness will only swallow you if you allow it. So again, it only comes with the decision to really practice it, to use it. And also, one more thing is to record a video of yourself speaking in English, like when you're reading something or when you're like talking or sharing some thoughts. Sometimes it's all about being spontaneous when you're speaking. You don't need a specific formula when you're like trying to improve yourself in using the language. Again, disclaimer, I am not perfect, but what I can share and what I can help you with is at least some tips or personal tips that I know would help. At least if it worked for me, it might work for you too, or it might not work for you, but there's no harm in trying. Again, there's no harm in trying. This is just based on my personal experience, my personal thoughts, and whatnot. So if you want to learn more, let's have a conversation. I don't know how to convince you to overcome intimidation or hesitation. Your purpose of using the language would determine the level of awkwardness that you would feel. But again, these are just my personal views, my personal tips, my personal experiences. I just want to grab this opportunity to thank my English mentors, my English teachers. I might not be able to name one by one. Thank you so much to, of course, I would start with my grade 6 English teacher, Ma'am Roslyn Peligro, for being one of the motivators when I was like a kid, when I was in elementary. Thank you so much, ma'am. That poem really, I don't know if people know about that. I mean, if people remember that. There was like a notebook in elementary with the poem at the back that's called 100% Alive. So that's what I was trying to talk about. And of course, our freshman English teacher, Ma'am Ninfa Macbenta. Thank you so much, ma'am, for believing also in me, because during the time we were like exposed to stage plays and whatnot. So like it's part of trying to improve that side of ours as a student, our acting skills, and at the same time our speaking skills in English. Ma'am Ninfa was one of the supporters and believers. My second year advisor, Mama Fe or Ma'am Fe Roblase, actually, it was during the second year when I had more exposures to hosting, especially for the school activities. And that's when I also started like hosting gig outside the school, when I get some offers or when I get some invitation to host activities outside, like community activities or whatnot. And yeah, Mama Fe was one of those. She was always encouraging me to be more comfortable on stage, to deliver the message to people, to make sure that I connect to the people. And Ma'am Manena Garingo also believed in me. I remember I was trying to audition for a reality show on TV. She's one of those people I approached for this financial help, and I still remember the letter that she wrote. I was very touched with the letter that she wrote, telling me that she believes in my skills, that she believes in me, in my character and whatnot. So I'm just very touched and very grateful for the support that I am receiving. And of course, to our fourth year advisor / our English teacher as well, and also our hosting mentor, Ma'am Gabby Tuyak. She's one of those important people that I have from high school, from whom I've learned much about hosting. Because I remember the first time she taught us, like we were just reading the scripts and all. We were so dependent on the scripts, and then one time during the actual hosting, she told us like, "Hey John, don't read the scripts, but as much as possible, do some ad libs. Learn to do some ad libs and whatnot, so that people would be pleased to hear you, or would love to listen or pay attention to your hosting and whatnot." And that really made me a better host and a better public speaker. Yeah, I've learned how to be more spontaneous. Thanks a lot to my English teachers. And of course, I might not be able to remember my English teachers from my college, but yeah. Thank you so much, ma'am, sirs. And yeah, I truly appreciate the big help. I wouldn't be speaking this way today if not because of these mentors, of these dear teachers I had. So I'm just grateful. And again, if you're new to this channel, please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Hey Awesome John, and follow me on my social media platforms, my other social media accounts, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Kumu, or TikTok. It's the same username, Hey Awesome John. Please don't forget to click the notification bell button to get updates. If you have questions, just leave your comments down below. If you also suggestions on some topics that you want me to talk about, just leave your comments down below. If you like this video, please don't forget to share this to your friends. If you know friends who might relate to this, if you know friends who might need this video, just share this or tag them on the comment section below. Okay, that's it for today. Don't forget to be awesome. Surround yourself with good energy. For you to keep moving forward, you are valid. Regardless, you never know who's excited or what you're happy to see every single day.